All right, guys, we are ready for Tuesday of our week 2 bell ringers. Does that make you feel like you're at school? And it says to write an expression for this statement. Subtract 1 from 6, then multiply by 2. So to be able to subtract before we multiply, remember according to our order of operations, we would have to put this in parentheses. And if I'm subtracting from 6, then that means my 6 has to come first. It's kind of like a play on words. So I would have 6 minus 1 because I'm taking 1 away from 6. So I'm putting my 6 first. Then I'm multiplying by 2. All right, right here, round each number to the nearest whole. So remember what we did last week. I underlined my whole number and I looked to the right. Oops, it doesn't look like a very good arrow. And I said 5 or more, raise the score. 4 or less, let it rest. Hopefully you guys did that with me while I was doing it. And I see that this is just a 4 or less, so I'm going to keep that 6 a 6. All right, now I'm going to underline my whole number here, which is actually a 0. I'm looking over to the right. Is it 5 or more? Raise the score, or 4 or less? Let it rest. It is a 5 or more, so that's going to bump this number here up to a 1. Our next problem says, in the backyard, Jennifer pulled half of the weeds and Roger pulled 3/8 of the weeds. What fraction of the weeds were pulled in all? And we talked about this phrasing in all, and that typically means that we are going to add. So we're going to add 1/2 and 3/8. And same thing as we did on Monday, we have to change the denominators. And I see very easily that 2 can be turned into an 8. So that way I could just leave this fraction alone. I love it when I don't have to do anything to both of my fractions. Because when we're adding fractions, we have to have a common denominator. So I'm going to leave this fraction the same. I'm just going to move over here so I have a little bit more room. So I'm going to leave my 3/8 the same, but I'm going to turn this 1/2 into something over 8. So to turn this 2 into an 8, I would have to multiply it by 4. So what I'm going to do to my denominator, I have to also do to my numerator. So 1 times 4 gives me 4. So now I'm adding my numerators. 4 plus 3 gives me 7, and I don't add my denominators. They stay the same. So my denominator is going to be an 8. So in all, they pulled 7/8 of the weeds. All right, our last problem is all about the metric system. We will learn about that a lot, probably in the spring. So I have 6,000 meters, and I have to figure out how many kilometers or kilometers we have. And remember we talked about this word kilo means 1,000. So because we already have our thousands here, we're just going to give this a 6 because we already have our thousands here. So whenever we're talking about meters and kilometers, we're taking out that we're dividing by 1,000. All right, so we have 7 liters here. And how many milliliters do we have over here? And we have 7,000. All right, it's the end of Tuesday.